Hello, now I'm going to show you a utility that is free and saves me incredible amount of time. As you can see by the icon, it's search utility called Everything, and you can find it on the Void Tools website, where it's officially free to download and easy to install. So an illustrative example, for example, where have I saved the files and materials of the Vysoft X training on disk? So I enter Vysoft X. And I see that it's on this path. And I even have some txt file, in which I have some notes, and I see that it's from backups, so it's something older. And when I want to go to the folder, I just double click, and I'm there. I can see all the training materials here. Alternatively, I directly open Path with the right click and see where my Vysoft X folder is located. Or if, for example, I forgot where I saved the script for this video, which has everything in the title. So I see that according to this path, for example, that this is my training. And the others are related to the browser, or the Everything program. Here are some installations and other files called Everything. And I'm currently searching all local disks. That is, all disks on which I have about 5 terabytes of data. When you imagine that you should search for Vysoft X on these disks using Windows Search, for example, I give enter. So I ran this search just for fun, and it took about 5 minutes to find the folder called Vysoft X. After that, it took another 8 minutes to find all the files I was expecting, including Vysofts in their names. And for a total of over an hour and a half, I waited for it to finish the search, but it kept spinning and spinning, so I finally turned it off. And imagine what would happen if I wanted to search, for example, ALJPEG or JPG files or BMP, PNG. But I'd rather not even try it here. So far, it has found some 120,000 files. Let's try it in Everything instead. Enter a .dot and JPG. It has found about 2,700,000 objects, and you can see that you can navigate between them very quickly. We have all the paths available, so we can see what paths they are on. If I want, I can open the file directly either by double-clicking or right-clicking. I give Open Path. Actually, I can directly, simply work with these files and folders as if I were in Windows Explorer, so I can move, copy. I can do with them what I do in Windows Explorer. For example, I copy. It also works through shortcuts. I can mark more files. For example, I click Copy. For example, I put them in the folder where I currently make video. Paste and have the files I wanted. You could even see that new ones with the same name appeared here, just in a different folder, so the ones that are in the training folder are with the same name. So it ranked them nicely here, so you can see that the search is dynamic, so even if you add, delete, modify names, and this is how it all manifests itself. Now let me try to find how many BMP files I have here. Currently about 2,200,000, PNGs about 614,000. TIFFs 1140. So I searched in 5 terabytes basically within milliseconds. Now we will burden the program a little more. I connect an external USB-C to drive, and it automatically started scanning that drive because that's how Search Everything is set up. And sorts the names. And I have the results. It can be seen that it has found 97,000 TIFF files now in total. And when we look at the disk, there is about 3 terabytes of data, so it searches for a total of about 8 terabytes now. It often happens that we take large images with high resolution on the line during inspections, and then we only collect cutouts for individual inspections. For example, in this case, we made such a cutout, where we were looking for a pushpin like this. The pushpin could have been in different places and we were supposed to detect it. A detection neural network was used for this. It's part of a large image, and sometimes there's an anomaly. Like this image, there's a ghost here. So I'll just take some timestamp from the title of the image, or some identifier if it's there. I open everything, put the name in there, and we can open, for example, the large image from which we made the crop. And we see that an operator has entered the frame. Alternatively, I need to find images that were taken at a similar time. Since I have a timestamp here, I only need to delete the last numbers, which are the finest parts of a second, which represent thousandths, hundredths, tenths of a second, and so on. And I get two images that were made at a similar time, a little different in different minutes, let's say. And I see that there is a basic image, and then there are some cutouts, crop 1, crop 2, crop 3, pushpins, and so on. A similar example, for example, we checked yogurts, where we had to find out if the lid was properly closed. We basically only sent the edge of the eyelid to the neural network, which was unwrapped in this way, to save performance process time and make it easier to train. For example, when I go through these images like this, I find an error and I want to see what the whole lid looked like, whether I made the cutout correctly, and so on. So I'll just look at what kind of image it is. Of course, the title has to fit correctly. I see that I didn't find anything with this title, which means that I don't have the correctly named images as needed. But when I start erasing, I can see from the time that this picture was taken at the time when approximately my cutout. And when I open it, I see that it's just the picture I wanted. If I were to look for this manually, it would be very time-consuming. So I use Search Everything very often. And this search helped me find a snapshot from the scaled folder. That is, it is a snapshot that is already processed somehow. And I see that I also have raw, scaled, and then others, so I can theoretically work out what raw is like. For example, I delete another part of the timestamp and see that a raw image was taken at a similar time. Then scaled and then unwrapped, so this is the original image that the camera created. Everything also has a lot of other options for searching. For example, we can switch to search-only folders. In this case, no folder has such a name: images, video files, compressed files, or all. We can sort very quickly. For example, have you ever tried to sort a large number of images in Windows by date? Let's try it here. We have 2,800,000 images, and sorting by date, path, or size is very fast. But for example, we can also search using regular expressions. So when I have our yogurt images, and I want to find out which ones all have a 0 at the end, these are not okay images for me, and which ones all have a 1. I can do it by searching on Lyth beginning of the timestamp. For example like this, I see that it found almost 40,000 files and I can search for any character and any number of characters after it. So a dot is a character, an asterisk means any number of occurrences, and at the end look for _1. There are 38,100 with 1 at the end, and 186 objects with 0. Even I can write .jpg, so as not to make a mistake, still 186 objects. But it found both unwrapped and scaled in the folders, so I'll sort them by path, for example, and choose only those images that are full resolution in RAW folder. And I can see if I copy them like this. For example, to a folder. I create a folder. Noke RAW. Paste, and now I can view all of them in this way to see if the system evaluated them correctly or not. For me, everything is like a small miracle that it can process everything so quickly, index and sort it. 2 things I would recommend in the settings. Add an asterisk to the exclude.lnk because Windows creates links to files that you have recently opened or launched, and then this can be a bit of a hindrance, so I would recommend this to have cleaner results. And if you want to index or search in external drives, you can switch it in NTFS indexes, where you can turn on automatically include removable devices or fixed volume devices. Or you can switch which ones you want to remove from the search. So, I believe that this program will help you too. See you in next video.